Hey there guys, it's Greg from Beastie Geeks. Thank you so much for watching our channel. And in this video I want to show you a preview of the Shadow Planet game by Galatka. It's a game with hidden identity mechanic. So it's a game from the category of the, for me, most intense and most emotional games that I think are on the market, because what is more intense than competing with your friends when one of them is a traitor, alien, wants to destroy you or whatever, and no one knows who is who. So the Shadow Planet tells the story of astronauts who are going to some kind of planet that get some distress signal and they want to check it. So they are going there, and unfortunately something or someone killed their captain, their pilot. So they want to go back to their ship, which is on orbit, and they only have 12 hours to do this, to repair their shuttle and go back. The prototype I have is very high quality, so more or less I have the feeling what we can expect from the final version of the game, and I think that can be just a very good game, because the board looks very nice, it's very graphic. We have those cool small minis, we have those cards in this comic style. Everything is very cohesive, looks very nice on the table, and plays really well too. So without further ado, let's start and let's see how the Shadow Planet works. Alright, so that's Shadow Planet. It's a game set for 5 players, but I am not going to play the game because it's a game with hidden identity mechanics, so I don't have split personality to play it and show it how it works, but I can give you a general overview of the mechanics and what we can expect from the Shadow Planet. So the game tells a story of astronauts who are on some kind of planet, and they want to check some distress calls sent from the planet. And what happened? That someone or something killed Mark, the pilot, and damaged the shuttle of our astronaut. So in 12 hours they need to repair the shuttle and get back to their space ship, which is on orbit of the planet. So more or less that's the story of the game. And what kind of mechanics we have in this game? So first of all, game is for 3 to 5 players, and we have 5 cards with objectives for 5 players. First of all, Alien is always in play because that's the main antagonist, I think. And this one is also always in play, and the rest of them, it's 3 of them are our astronauts and 1 is Guardian, and each of them has completely different objective of winning the game. So here we have objectives. On the left side of the board we have all characters that are in a game, and what is important that even if we are not playing with 5 players, and as you mentioned, I think as you noticed, we have 6 of characters. All of those characters are in play, no matter how many players are playing the game. So here are the characters, here we have objectives, here is the map with 4 areas, the biggest circles over there, and in each area we have sectors, those smaller circles like over here, over here, over here, and those sectors are give extra ability, extra things that players can do on the map, and each character can land on those sectors only once per game. And those lines, let's say, with numbers and with icons tells us where we can travel between those areas. So what else we have here? Of course we have those dials, 1, 2, 3, used to count different things. Here is a counter of repair of our shuttle. Here is a thread that the alien and alien wants to generate, because that's the goal of the alien, of the player with the alien identity. And the final one is a countdown, so it's a countdown of 12 hours. When 12 hours is gone, game is end, and then we have to check who is the winner. Oh, of course, we have those cool minis. I mean, I don't know. It's not mini. It's I don't know the word in English. Those things. I'm gonna check it and try it in a video. And what else we have here? Of course, decks. And that's the most important, that's the second most important mechanic in the game, because the game is more or less a deck builder, let's say. And those cards can be obtained from those different areas, big areas over here, from those 4 big areas. And in each of these decks, like over here, as you can see, that we have icons, because those decks are created. Are built with cards with those symbols, like that green tentacle, like that red gun, I think, like shovel, a boot, and one more. I think there should be one more with this icon. So all of those icons are important, are the main mechanic of this game, because they are very important during the final act of each of the turns. So let's go through setup of the game, and let's go through the one round of the game, and then you will understand what I mean by that. So first of all, setup of the game. Everything is set. Over here we have to set the death dial on 8 if we are playing with the 5 players. So let's say I'm playing with 5 players, so it's set on 8. Threat is set on 2, and countdown is set on 12. Now each of these stacks is shuffled. And each of these stacks has this icon, and this icon needs to match the location. So over here is that icon, and over here is that icon, and so on. So that's the second thing during the setup. And now one more extra thing. Over here we have that mechanic of sending a messages from the shadows or by the shadows, and those are the first cards set here. We have over here one card with one icon, each of the icons. Now, how players are starting the game. So here we have those players sheets, players 8s. On the back of those 8s we have strategies for each of the factions, let's say. So there's a strategy for astronauts, for aliens, and for the Guardian, because each of them want to do something different. And how astronauts win. Astronauts want to escape the planet. They want to go back to their ship, and they don't want to take with them an alien. So astronauts want to play this way, that they will increase the repair counter. So the shuttle is repaired and they can leave. And they will do things that the threat level will be decreasing, not increasing. Because when the threat is on number 8, the game ends. Now Alien is winning the game when he or she escapes the planet. And how can he do that? Of course, he or she will help astronauts repairing the shuttle, and Alien wants to increase the threat meter as fast as it can. So when the threat is again at the level 8, the game ends. So that's the second one. And the Guardian is the only one character in the as Alien. There's only one Guardian in a game, and Guardian wants to make everyone stay on the planet. That a Guardian wants to stop Alien and stop humans, stop astronauts from getting off the planet. So he or she wants to move the countdown as fast as he or she can and destroy or damage the shuttle. Those are more or less the strategies of each of the factions. And now the face of that sheet of the player. So what do we have here? First of all, we have a place for protagonist card, which is simply a card for first player. So it's a first player token, first player card, whatever. Here we have place for a character you control, because every round of the game you will control, or you can control, different character of this game. So next place, it has the sector where you will collect those tokens, and on each of these tokens we have faces of characters that players can control. And each time you are controlling a specific character, you will take one of those tokens of that character, and that's a bad thing, because the more tokens of specific character you have, you lower your possibility of being adjusted to this character at the end of the game. And that's also very important, because as I said earlier, the game is more or less deck building game, so you want to build a deck of one of the characters that suits your strategy, and at the end of the game you want to be adjusted to this character. So for example, if you're playing as an alien, and I don't know why Rachel is the character you want to be adjusted, you are playing this game this way, that her deck will be built with the cards that are useful for an alien at the end of the game. So you don't want to play her often, or you are using some kind of special abilities that allows you to discard the tokens from over here. So you even if you're playing her, you don't have her tokens on your space. And finally, over here, that's your secret objective. So basically, it's your identity. I'm naming it identity. Those are the objectives. So let's say we are playing the five players games, giving this one should be of course face down, but I will put it like this, so I know who's who. And on the back of the manual we have that summary with each of the phases of the round. So first phase is control phase, and in this phase players choose a character to control based on their availability. They receive all the cards of that character's gear and take one marker of the matching color from the pool. So as I said, how we are choosing, no, not this one, how we are choosing characters. So I'm gonna take all faces of the characters, and let's say the sheet over here is a sheet of the first player, and sheet over here with the garden is a sheet of the last player. So I am shuffling this. Now one card goes to the last player, no one knows what kind of card is there, and the first player is choosing his identity. So let's say first player will choose John Vargo, yeah? He chooses it and takes it, and now each of the rest of the players chooses one card from those 4 cards. So let's say this, and last final player can now choose from those 2 cards his or her identity. So let's say it's gonna be Rachel, and robot lands back to the left side of the board. And now players can discover their identities and start the next phase of the game. So the next phase of the game is operation phase. Now second, operations phase. All characters take their turn in the initiative order using their ability if uncontrolled or through the players who controls them. So first, over here we have in an initiative order. So the first player who will do his or her actions will be the player with this symbol. That's the yellow player, so that character. So that's Jenna Scott. And the Jenna Scott have each character have those 2 things on their cards. When there's an icon of the human, let's say, that's the ability available for player. If there's a cog, that ability is launched when this character is not played by any of players. So in this example, robot is not no one choose the robot, so a robot will do pass the protagonist card to the left. So who's the protagonist? So let's say John was a protagonist. So next would be Nicky Larson. Right, so the first player is Jenna Scott. So now when everyone chooses their character, they're taking their decks. It's her. I'm not gonna distribute all of them. Maybe that's pointless back here. And now I want to show you what she has in her deck. Cards with those icons that allows her to do things. Extra effects if there is an effect. Another icon different, allowing her to do something different. Again, a shoe, but this time there's a special effect over here. The other characters in your location gain one shovel icon until the end of this round. So that's the extra ability for all the other players. There's nothing, and there's icon with tentacle and special ability. Choose a character in your location and take one of their markers from the pool. And those are her cards that she can use in her turn. So now we are going to that operations phase, and we need to go resolve this phase specific in this order. So always now, first thing we have to do is move. So I can spend cards with move icon, with that shoe icon, and move around the map. And as you noticed over here, we have, for example, 2, 4, 10, 8. So it's obvious I of course need to spend as many icons with the shoe as it's shown over here to move to the different location. And on the sectors also we have those icons. So for example, to enter flight deck I need to spend 2 icons of the shoe, and then I have 2 special abilities in here. So if, for example, over here is place Monet in this location. Monet is a vehicle that allows us to travel easier around the planet. So I can spawn Monet or advance the repair indicator by 2. So that's the move. And now after move I can do search. So again I can spend cards with shovel icon and do search action, and a search action allows me one icon of search allows me to check one card of specific deck where my mini is. So if she is standing over here with cards with shovel, I have 2 of them. If I would play them, I can check 2 cards from top of the deck. So I'm doing this, and I can arrange them as I want, and put them back on top of the deck. So there's no effect with blue icon and no effect with shoe, but this time with power of 3. So one card allows me to move by 3. And those icons above and below those decks shows us how many cards with specific icons we can find in this deck. So in this deck, the most of the cards gives us shoe icon. Here we have shovel and shoe icon. Here we have that blue icon and red icon. I don't know, it's a gun and that wrench. I think that's a wrench. And in here we have most of the cards are in here are with shovel, blue, shoe, and the 2 last one, that wrench and tentacle, are less. Actually, in this instruction we can find numbers, how many cards we can find in each of this deck, and that can be very important during the play when you are trying to build your strategy. So now that's the search action, so you can check the cards on the top of the deck and then shuffle them, arrange them however you want and put them back on top of the deck. And the third action of this phase is get action. This one is free, I mean, yes, let's say it like that. This one is free, so no matter if you play the card or not, you always take one card from the deck where is your character. So in this example, I would take this card from top of this deck to the deck of, what's her name? Jenna Scott. And again, if I would play cards with that tentacle, I could take more cards. So let's say I played this card and I'm taking a second one. So now I have that extra card with 3 shoes in her deck. And the last 2 operations, repair and attack, they don't have any special. They don't do nothing. I mean, there's nothing you can do except of launch effects from the card. So if you don't have card with effect like this, we have repair, and there's a repair effect with no effect, so nothing gonna happen. But if you can have a card with a range and with some kind of effect over here, and then so that's the moment where you can play this card to do this repair action. And then you are doing the same thing goes with the attack operation. And that's the end of operations for one player, and each player do the same thing. But what is important to remember that you have to keep your played card somewhere shown off, because now you're gonna take, when all of the players already finish their actions, you're gonna take all the cards you played in this round. And why are you keeping this? Because all players now will take their played cards and will discard one of their cards from their hand face down to this place over here with this yellow hand. Then those cards are shuffled. So let's say everyone gave some kind of card. Now those cards are shuffled, and we need to take 6 of cards from this deck. So let's say I shuffled it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and those goes back over here to the white hand. And now we have to check what kind of cards we have over here at the end of the round. And this is very important moment, because this one can show us who, if we are of course good observers and we know who done what, and you are remembering every action of other players. Because let's see what do we have here. So we have 2 icons of the boots. So 2 icons of the boots. We have 2 icons with that range, that blue icons, and 2 icons with the shovels. And why is that important? So in this phase where that messages from the shadows are sent, we have to compare the differences between 2 sets of icons. So first comparison, we have to compare how many green tentacles we have here versus how many red guns we have here, and we need to count the difference and move a specific counter by to the left or to the right, depending if we have more green or red symbols. In this situation we have 0, so nothing gonna happen. Then we have to compare blue icons versus red icons, and let's see, we have 2 blue icons and 0 red icons. So that means that the astronauts and maybe alien are playing to repair the shuttle. So we can move this by 2, and thanks to this we are closer to repair the shuttle, because blue icon represents that they are repairing the shuttle, and the red icon represents that they somehow sabotage the repairment of the craft. And that's the final comparison is countdown consequence, and over here we have to compare shoes and shovels. And again we have 2 versus 2, so it's a 0, we don't have any difference, and that means we don't move this countdown clock. But at the end of the one round we always have to move this clock by 1, because we spent 1 hour on the planet, so now we have only 11 hours more before our ship will move from the orbit and leave us on the planet forever. And that's the end of the round. Players now should give back their characters to the left side of the board, give back their decks, and now starting with another game round, again they will choose their character, and again you have to repeat all of the actions I showed you. Now, how a game ends and when. So, for example, we have three, let's say, steps of ending the game. If the threat meter goes over here to the 8, the game instantly ends and the alien wins. And that's it. That's the first condition. So second step, the repair. So if repair is on a 0, that the astronauts manage to repair the shuttle and also the alien. So instantly the player who is a guardian loses the game. And now players who are astronauts and player who is an alien need to compare their cards and check who is the winner by manipulating that threat counter. So, as I said at the beginning, players will be adjusted to the characters depending on how many icons they have. So in this situation, this player doesn't have any token with a robot. So that player would be a robot at the end of the game, and that player takes all the cards of the robot, and that player can use cards of robot with that tentacle, because the tentacle influences threat, and they can use those cards to influence the threat and move it to the left or to the right. And depending if this threat reaches that threshold or not, aliens or astronauts wins. And if the game ends due to the countdown indicator reaching 0, so if this reaches, where is it? 0, there's a situation where all three sides of the conflict, let's say, are trying to win the game. So first of all, astronauts, again, players are adjusted to the characters, and now astronauts can use cards in their hand with the blue symbol to adjust the repair and move it to 0. If that's impossible and they cannot do this, they lose, and the guardian immediately wins the game. If they repair it and they escape the planet, so of course Guardian loses the game, and as previously, that's the moment where astronauts and an alien need to compare their symbols to move the threat counter. And that's the end of the game. So if threat is not behind the threshold, astronauts wins. If threat is at the end of the scale, alien wins, because alien escaped the planet and threat is at the maximum level. So that's the Shadow Planet. Game is, I think, very complex. Very, it forces you to think and plan ahead a lot, and it can be challenging, I think. It's very crucial that every player knows perfectly the rules of this game. It's impossible to learn them during play, because at the end it's gonna be unfair. So you need to check 3 times before you start the game if everyone knows the rules. So that's the Shadow Planet, and the game that's a prototype, of course. The game is or will be on a Kickstarter. It depends if you are watching this now or in the future, and so it's possible that it's not on a Kickstarter anymore. Whatever. That's Shadow Planet. If you like this kind of game with hidden identities, that can be a very good choice. But again, I need to highlight this. It is demanding game. It's not anti-narking where everything is written on the cards and it's very easy. It's a very easy to learn game with very low threshold. The Shadow Planet is much more complex, but I don't say that's a bad thing, of course. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.